Good morning. Today I have in front of me an acoustic guitar. Fun things acoustics. I've got a fantastic acoustic myself. I've just bought one. Basically I bought myself a copy of Martin D18. It's made by Furch, handmade in the Czech Republic. It's a Stanford, can't remember, it's D1P. Beautiful, beautiful guitar. I think it retailed at something between 1200 and 1500 quid. I got my brand new old stock for £300, needed a little bit of work, absolutely right up my alley. Got it playing absolutely brilliant. The guy who even sold it me come back and he says, that's amazing what you've done with it. It's brilliant. I've got one in today, and again, it's a copy, or not so much a copy, but it's another company's version of a Martin D18. And here it is. And it's a bit battered and bruised, solid spruce top. I imagine well, back and sides are rosewood back and sides, look at that. Ebony fingerboard, ebony bridge, and it's a Japanese guitar. It's a Takamine, look. It's a Takamine EN-18. So it's their slant on the Martin D18. So a big dreadnought. I imagine it's got a wonderful, wonderful sound when it's in full flight. It's got an EQ on there. It's not branded, so it'll be Takamine's own. EQ with volume, which they call gain on here. Stereo switch. It was at some point a stereo. I think it may have been modified stereo, because that's a stereo jack in there, but there's another one there. Now that to me seems to be in the wrong place. It should be down here at the bottom. I don't like that there, because structurally it's not a good place to put an input jack, because you've only got about 3 or 4 mil thick of wood, which is the rosewood, the actual walls of the guitar. So what's the problem with this? Well, you can see it's got no saddle and it's got no nut. There's a reason for that. I've took them off for plain and simple fact that if you look at the frets, these frets are really low and they're really worn. And this has come in, it's going to have a refret, a complete refret. Now I've talked to the owner of this guitar. He's not a gigging musician anymore, but in his time he was. Big Bob King. Really nice musician, nice singer, country and western. And he's come round and we've had a chat. He's a nice man. And we've talked about it, and we're going to do a complete refret. So obviously with this being an ebony board, we have to be careful about chipping for his frets when we remove them, because when you remove frets from an ebony board you tend to get quite a lot of chipping. Well, what we're going to, I don't want to be sanding down the fingerboard and lowering it or anything like that, so we need as little chipping as possible. So I'm going to remove the frets as I normally do with heat, using a modified, I'm going to use a soldering iron with a modified tip that goes over the grooves of the frets. We're going to get some good heat in there to melt the glue underneath, and hopefully we're just going to lift them out and get as little chipping as possible. Now that's not a problem for me if we do get chipping anyway. We know how to fill them in and how to fix them up. But this guitar has got more problems than that. Now if you look at the bridge saddle, it was a split saddle to compensate for the intonation on the E and B strings. You could have just used a compensated saddle, but sometimes they go about 4, so it's a 4 and 2 affair. Now the old one wasn't literally a 4 and 2 affair. It was actually one bridge chopped up into 6 bits, so 4 on one side, 2 on the other. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to split it 2 and 1, and I bought, to do that, and it's probably a little bit too thick, we're going with some Graphtec Tusk TUSQ, which is a man-made, basically it's man-made ivory. I use this stuff, and I also use the new bone stuff as well. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut this to size to make a 4 and a 2, and I'm going to have to shape it as well, get the shape right, get the radius, the neck radius right, which will be around about 16 inch I imagine, get a radius on there, then split it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one bridge, one saddle. I'm going to do the 16 inch radius, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to make a 2 and a 4, and then we're going to have the right radius on the saddle itself. Also we're having a brand new nut on there. Now I didn't realise at the time I got this is a slotted nut for a Martin, which is fine. The string spacing is absolutely bang on, 36mm or thereabouts, probably just a little bit over, but I didn't realise when I bought this it's got a slanted bottom. There, can you see that? So I'm going to have to flatten that. It's high enough, which is a good thing. So I'm going to flatten that, Going to file it down, get it all sanded up, and we're going to make it fit this guitar. Now if you see the nut on this one, again, Tusk, Graphtec, no expense spared with us. We might be Kirkby and Ashfield, but we're not cheap, just saying. And if you look here, you'll see that the nut area is slotted in, so I'm going to make it fit that slot. Hopefully it's going to be high enough. If not, I'll have to go buy another one at my expense. I'm sure it will be. So that's where we're going to go. I'm going to remove stuff like the saddle, not the saddle, the strap pin there, because it makes it easy to work with. And also, regarding this hole, I'm also going to repair, it's quite savage that, isn't it? I'm going to repair this. And I've not quite worked out how I'm going to do it yet. What I was thinking of doing is, I've got some veneer. I've got quite a lot of veneer in one of my drawers. It might be over in that one. I'm not going to look in it because it might not be there. I've got some veneer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to a piece of veneer about yay big, and we're going to stick it behind this hole. Now the thing is, me being the hefty chap that I am and having quite big arms, can't get my hand in there and can't reach down far enough, but my missus can. So she's going to get her weedy little arm in there, a weedy wonderful little arm, beautiful arm shall I say, and she's going to hold a piece of veneer on the back of our hole for me. Now the thing is, she don't know I've only got 30-minute epoxy, so she's going to hold it for 15-20 minutes. I'll tell her that in a bit. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some veneer behind there. I'm going to clean up this area, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this hole with, once the veneer is glued in behind it, I'm going to make up a paste out of, we're going to use some, I don't have to use epoxy or wood glue yet. I might go with wood glue mixed with some, I've got a lot of maple dust, really fine maple dust, and I'm going to make a paste up and we're going to fill that hole in. And once it gets a little bit proud of where it needs to be, but I'm going to sand it flat. And the colour might not match perfect, but I've got some furniture touch-up tools, crayons, wax crayons, pens, and all sorts. And we'll get the colour there or thereabouts. Bob's given me permission to do as I please to get this guitar right. Structurally, we're going to do as best with this. I think the best idea is to glue some veneer behind there, and it gives us something then to glue onto here. It's not something I'd go poking my finger into when it's been fixed, and I've been dabbing with a screwdriver or anything like that, but something that looks the part. I'm not even going to try and match up these stripes. I'm just going to get something in there and get the colour just about right. We'll make a good job. I've done stuff like this on my Antoria 335 guitar, where to put a new thing in for a scratch pin, a strap pin here. So pretty confident we can get that looking decent. Regarding the fingerboard, we're going to get the frets out. What we're going to do is I'm going to re-radius the board just to get it nice and smooth, give it a light sanding there. We're not going to remove any major material. Probably at the most we're going to remove a 1/4 of a millimetre, not even that. Probably about 0.1 of a millimetre or 1/10 of a millimetre, just to get it all flat and straight and smooth. Fret wire we go in with, this is quite a wide fret wire. It's 2.5 millimetres wide. So I've decided I've got plenty of 2.7mm wide in stock, so I'm going to go with 2.7mm wide, but it's quite low, not super low, but it's only 1mm high. So we're going with 2.7 wide by 1mm high, and once I've skimmed it a little bit, we'll get it under a millimetre. Going with 18% nickel silver, which 18% it sits in between the hardness of regular fret wire, which is 12% nickel silver, and stainless steel, which is super hard. Your 18% nickel silver is classed as hard fret wire. I would myself, even with heavy play, I would expect to get a minimum of 10 years out of some 18% nickel silver. So it's more, it's a lot more work from our tools, but I don't charge any extra for using the 18% because, as a matter of course, it's my default fret wire, and I'm using 18% nickel silver fret wire on all the fret jobs I do. So you're getting a harder, longer lasting fret wire. I'm not charging any extra for it, even though it's a little bit more work. But I think it benefits us all round. It's not cheap to get a refret, let's be honest about it. Got the go ahead on this. I've talked to the owner, we've talked about what we're going to do, how we're going to go about it. This part of the video, this is going to be part one. I'm not going to do actually any work on this part of the video. This is just basically to put on YouTube to show the owner that we're going to crack on today. We're going to make a move. The first part of the job, I mean, what I'm going to do first. What I thought of doing first was removing the frets, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to remove the frets, or if I am, I might do it later. I'm going to have a look at this area, and I'm going to go and do some research online and see how I think I should fix this. I still think I'm going to stick a piece of veneer behind there, a big patch, probably going to be, the patch is going to be you're looking at a 3" by 2. The 3" by 2" patch of veneer behind there. And what I might do then is, if I clean this area up a little bit or dig some out, I've got to make sure it's flush on the back, and then I might clean this up, and I might even make a couple of veneer patches or rings to put inside there, and I'll make a good paste up when we'll get it all built up. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I think I know how I'm going to do it. I've got an idea in my head. So today, that's really what I'm going to do. I've tested the electrics work, that's alright, there's nothing wrong in there. And that's really it. I've had a look on my Takamine website, as you do. I've got no internet now. Well, I've got internet, but my computer, I've got no computer down here now. I've got a laptop to fix, so I'm meant to go on my iPad. I'm surprised this works on the internet, because it don't most of the time. But I've been online, looked at the guitar. It's a discontinued model. It's a Takamine EN-18, obviously made in Japan. The top is solid spruce, so you know that's good. The back and sides are rosewood. The fingerboard's ebony. It says it's got a palathetic pickup, whatever that means. And the finish is gloss natural. That's all the information you're getting. It's all we're giving you, not giving you hotels. I could go on Wikipedia it or look at more info. What's the point? It's we know what it is, and we know we'll know more or less how we're going to fix it. So like I say, I'm going to go and do some research now. I'm going to crack on doing that. I'm going to clean up. Basically, I'm going to clean up the guitar, get it prepped for doing some work. But the main thing at the moment is going to look at how I'm going to do that. Even if I don't do that today, I might whip the frets out today. I don't know. We'll see how we go on. I'm between projects at the moment. I've got another project over there, sat there. That's had a ebony fix in the fret slots. That's going to sit there. I'm going to let the ebony cure on that for 24 hours. So today, really, all I'm going to do today is do a bit of research on this. Might do a bit of work on it. And I've got some of my own stuff to work on, some of my own guitars, so I might have a little nib at one of those. So that's it. This is part one of this video. The guitar is a Takamine EN-18. I imagine it's a Martin D18 copper. Let's not say copper. It says Takamine's version of a Martin D18. We know what work needs doing. Of course, the guitar, when it's all fixed and that, will give it a good setup, good clean up, put some new strings on there. But today, we'll do some research, see where we are. This is part one of the video. I'm going to close. We're just running into 13 minutes now. I'm not going to add anything onto this bit. This is part one. So next update will be whenever it is. When there's something major to report, I'll come back in part two and let you know all about it. Back soon.